You are now listening to About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an entrepreneur and personal coach who has helped people reach their fullest potential, personally and professionally. Take it away, Rom.
Welcome to Rom Wills About That Business. Never hard sell. Now, look, I'm gonna tell you what this particular podcast was inspired because, I'm on IG and you get people constantly trying to sell you something. Now I get people who will follow me and it's cool, and they usually put a woman in the picture or something. I guess so you'll follow them back, right? And I was like, okay, get all these people. They all got the same thing to sell, some way to make extra cash. And you don't just block them automatically. But every now and then want to contact me. Now, okay, I had this one person. They contacted me and say, hey, how'd you like to make some extra money? I say, I'm good. And I am. I don't need to do something. And I don't need to do anything extra. I got enough to trust me. I explained to the person. I said, look, I'm already making 5 figures. I don't really need anything else. And I ain't say this to the person, but I'm doing that working a few hours a week. So if I actually put in more hours, trust me, I got as I learned when I was working retail, I have opportunity. I have a lot of opportunity to take it further. But I ain't tell them all that. I just said, no, I'm good. I'm good. But they kept hitting me up. And I even said the thing about the money in their shoe. They must have thought, oh, well, you can do this. I was like, dude, I don't need it. I don't need it. And so I just blocked them because it was getting on my nerves. But they made a very bad sales mistake. Never hard sell anybody. If you got to work too hard to sell something to somebody, they really didn't want it. Understand, every time you selling something to somebody, it's easy to sell if they halfway want it anyway. In fact, that's why you probably ran into them. Like when I'm selling, like when I'm vending. When I'm vending and I'm selling my books, I'll say hi to somebody. I might say, hey, come on over and check it out. But if they say, oh, no, that's okay, I'm like, have a nice day. I don't go run up to them and say, hey, man, you should check this out. No. And even if you did that, they might still look at it. They come over, they might look at your product and say, you know what, I'm not interested. You don't try to convince them at that point. You tell them to have a nice day. Because if you got to hard sell somebody on something, that means they already don't see the value in it. They don't. Because if somebody see a value in your product, they're going to ask you questions. They're going to talk to you. They're going to be like, well, what's this? Well, would this do anything? Or even if they might be familiar with it, it's like, okay, well, make sure. They're going to ask you stuff. You don't have to do anything extra. But when you try to hard sell something, you just like, well, hold up, wait a minute. One, on a deep level, or like a subtle psychological level, it says to them, hey, you pressed. Like, let me give you another story. I had a person who was supposedly a Ifa priest, a Yoruba priest, hit me up and say I was drawn to your thing. I want to do a reading on you. And I'm like, well, I don't need anybody to do a reading on me. Like, incidentally, for those who follow that particular spiritual path, Babalawos will never hit you up for a reading. Or they won't be that aggressive. And he kept saying, I said, look, I'm not interested. And then he said, well, you have a cloud of evil among you. Just give me your name and your mother's name and your date of birth. And I was just like, no, you're blocked. But he was hard selling. No, in fact, when I said no, I said you're pressing too much. So I knew it was like a con or something. And that's one thing. When you start hard selling, it makes it look like it's a con. Here's a little thing, and this is from sales experience. All you do is present it to them. One, if they in your presence anyway, they're listening to you. They already have inclination to buy the product. They want to buy the product. In fact, you might tell them a little something, but the biggest thing is going to be how much is it? Honestly. If somebody wants your stuff, the biggest thing is the price. Can they afford it right now? And even then, they might not afford it right then, but, they might come back later or something. If you gotta like be like really pushing it and really convincing them, no, don't do it. Just do not do it. Never hard sell. And this is even for some of these like fake me out scam artists. See, usually when somebody hard selling you, it's some bullshit involved. You know, I'll use an extreme example. No one has to hard sell a Rolls Royce. You don't have to convince somebody. Or even a car salesman. Like you get there's always that image of like the scuzzy used car salesman. They shouldn't have, if they hard selling, you don't get a car from that place. Because if you watch car salesmen in places that are more reputable, they really don't work that hard. They do that work that hard. They show you the car, tell you what's in it, Now they'll try to get you a deal or something because they are trying to get the sale. Let's just be clear, they still car salesmen. But they're not going to work that hard. They are not going to work that hard. They ain't going to do anything crazy, And they ain't gonna tell you some stuff, but watch anybody who does. That's for any product, any product. Even if y'all notice with my stuff, my books, I'll mention my books, but I don't go hard on I don't go hard on like telling y'all to buy it. I just kind of just talk, and usually even when I mention them, it's always in context of what I'm talking about that day. Because my thing is this, okay, you already in the house. You already in the store if you're listening to me. You already are in the store. So I don't have to convince you to come in. You come through, you listening and stuff. Then I might throw in a book or something. I got all the information. Y'all will check it out. Because if you have a good store, like say you have a good storefront, and it looks nice, it's clean and everything, and people come in, what's up? You say, hey, how you doing? You don't really sell them. You don't really sell it. It's like, let me know if I can be of any assistance or if you have any questions. And usually people look around, but then when they find something, they'll be like, hey, do you talk to them about it? And then it come down to the price. Can they get it right there? You don't have to hard sell them once they're in the building or once they're looking at yourself. All you have to do is present it to them, and they'll take it from there. But if you try to say, hey, you need this service or anything like that, like if somebody hits you up and say, you need this, it's like, no, you don't. As soon as you say that to me, I'm like, no, I don't. Because if I need it, I know I need it. You're showing your price because, first of all, if it's selling well and it's doing well, you sitting back. You sitting back like, I don't really need this. It's like present it to them. Let them go. And seriously, and I've seen that. If you look at a lot of salespeople, it's like, now you could probably, if you good with it, because I've talked about adding on, like in a clothing store or something, adding on some stuff. But even then, that person has come in looking for clothes. So once you take that in consideration, you selling a product, don't hard sell it. What you do is present it. You present it in its best light. Make sure if it's a hard product, clean. If it's a service, you tell them what the service is all about and what they get. But you don't be like, well, you got to get this or try to force it on them. Like I actually seen when I was working in gym sales, I actually seen this so-called sales manager. He ended up getting fired. I ain't gonna say anything bad about him, but I remember I was watching him do a sales, and I could tell the person was not interested, and he kept pushing it. He kept doing all this stuff, doing all this extra stuff, and it was a funny thing. The person ended up buying a membership, but then canceling right away. And I said, you was hard selling. The dude wasn't interested. Like when I did the same gym sales, I didn't spend more than 15 minutes with a person. And usually part of that 15 minutes was getting them signed up. Because it was a very easy process. So I just spent that. I convinced them I showed them the gym and then, found out if they wanted to, let them know the prices and see if they wanted to. I ain't had to hard sell, say, hey, yeah, you can get here and get big and all. It was like, they know what they were there for. And yeah, I made a lot of money that way. Don't hard sell. So anyway, that's all I got for y'all today. Let's go make that money.